And now I'm going to turn the microphone over. But before I do, I think we want to give a really giant, rousing, I don't know what about a hip hip hooray. Have you ever done that? Hip hip hooray, so on three, ready? 1, 2, 3, loud. Okay, turn over the mic.
Hi, energy savers. My name is Kathy Crozio. You all did such an amazing job in the North School contest this year that we wanted to come out and help you celebrate today and also show you a little bit more about the solar panels that are going to be up on the roof. Okay? Okay. The first thing I want to do, though, we're definitely going to talk about your results and how well you did in the contest. But I also want to tell you a little bit about the program that made all of this, that provided the money to make all of this take place. Okay? The company that we work for is called the Center for Resource Conservation. And you might have seen some of those emblems up there, but some of the programs that we have, Garden in the Box. Has anybody ever heard of Garden in the Box? Okay. It's actually a pretty cool program. You can go to the CRC and get an entire garden of plants in a box, and it's all xeriscape plants. Does anybody know what xeriscape means? Have you heard that word? Okay. Yeah, xeriscape plants are plants that don't need a lot of water, which is great for Colorado because we don't get a lot of water here, especially this winter. One of the other programs that we have at the Center for Resource Conservation is the Resource. And this is probably my favorite place. Whenever anybody tears down a house or renovates their house, instead of taking all that wood and all the bricks and everything and throwing it in the dumpster, they take it to the resource yard and they resell it back to the public for a cheap price. So it's a really fun place to go walk around and see all the different things. And then the energy division is what this program is under, the ReNew Schools program, as part of the energy division. Okay, just a reminder, because I know it's been a couple months since we've done the contest, but the energy conservation contest that we had, it went from November to January of this year, and it was 13 schools that competed in the contest, and you could get points in 3 different areas. One of them was to reduce the amount of energy that your school used. So you went around and flipped off lights, you did all those things to try to save energy. And then the other one was the checklist that you could do with your parents at home. How many of you did one of those checklists at your house? That's what I expect. You guys had a really good turnout with the whole checklist. Very impressive. And then the other ones were finding out ways that your school could save energy that you couldn't really do. So if you could say we'd like to replace all those windows because they let in too much cold air, that's not something you could have done during the contest, but telling us about it, you could have gotten points that way. So those are the 3 areas that you competed in. Your results, your school's results were fantastic. We did a lot of research about these programs around the country before we did this. And you had an 11% reduction in the amount of energy you used compared to last year. So you reduced your own energy use by 11%. And that's really, really incredible. And you had 273 checklists turned in. That's a lot. I don't think you had that many more than that, the students that go here. So you had almost everybody turned in one of those checklists. And then you had 43 ways that you saw that you could improve your school. Okay, beyond what you already did during the contest. That's really, really impressive results. And so because of that, oh wait, this graph is good for the adults in the room, but this actually just shows how much of an energy savings you had compared to 2009 and 2010. That's pretty impressive, especially with all the construction you had going on and everything else. Okay, so because you did so well in the contest and you came in second in Boulder, you got to have $25,000 to pick a prize of your choice that would make the building that would make your building use energy better. And so you got to choose a solar array or solar panels. So that's the roof of this building, right here. And that's how many panels you're going to be getting. Justin, do you know how many panels total? energy those panels are going to make, it's going to offset, or it's going to be equal to about planting 60 trees a year for the next 30 years. That's really a lot of energy. Okay, now I'm going to kind of get into that. Any question? Of your school's energy? What is it, about 10%, you think? It'll be about 10% of the energy usage, the energy load of your school. But hopefully, when you know that the panels are there and you're kind of tuned into energy, it makes you cut back anyway. So it tends to almost double because of the energy savings, just from people seeing them. It kind of reminds them to shut off lights and things like that. So hopefully we'll get even more than 10%. But good question. Okay, so this is a little bit about the nitty-gritty how power works. So when the sun comes down and hits this panel, who can tell me what an atom is? Does anybody know what an atom is? Anybody else? Okay.
An atom is a thing that everything's made out of. Yeah.
What are the 3 parts of an atom?
Electrons, neutrons, and protons.
Good. Okay, very good. But again, school year especially. Okay. The part that we're concerned with when it comes to the solar panel are the electrons. Because when the sun comes out and hits this panel, the electrons start moving. Okay, then they're usually the ones that kind of move around it. So when the sun hits the panel, the electrons start moving and they start to flow. And then they flow from one panel to the next, and to the next, and to the next, and then it kind of creates this current. And that's the electricity. That's basically how a solar panel works. And so once the electrons flow, they flow down that wire, and then they flow to that box called the inverter. And the inverter makes it into some kind of energy that things in the building can use. So it makes it into something that the TVs and lights can use. And the cool thing about solar energy is that if your building produces more than it uses, so if it makes more energy, those panels make more energy than they actually use, you get to sell that energy back to other homes and other buildings. Okay? So it'll get sent on those wires and go back to the regular grid and go to other places. Why do you think Colorado is such a good place for solar? One of the best things about living here. There's a lot of sun. We get 300 sunny days a year. So it's a fantastic place to have solar. Seattle? What do you think about Seattle? A lot of rain in Seattle. Okay, just some quick facts about solar panels. They do work when it's cloudy, but just not as well. They work better when they're cold, which is kind of surprising. Most people think they work better when they're really hot. They produce the most energy when you wake up in a summer morning and it's a little bit chillier then, and then it gets hotter. That's the best time for solar panels. And they will be working for 30 years once they're put up on the roof. 30 years. California's pretty good. California's pretty good for solar. All right. Okay. Who remembers what the weather was like last Sunday? Anybody remember what it was like? Do you remember? Was it kind of cloudy? Was it sunny? It was cloudy, okay? Now this graph up here actually shows, you're going to get an energy monitor, you're going to get a monitor with your solar panels that's going to show exactly how much energy your panels are producing. So this graph is what it's going to look like. And you can see the green, see where it's going up like this? shows what a solar panel did on a cloudy day, that the sun would come out and then it would go away, and then it would come out and then it would go away. So that was Sunday's weather. Monday was a gorgeous